An Air Canada cargo jet lifts off from Switzerland, carrying a precious load, 6,600 bars of pure 99.9% gold, totaling nearly 400 kilograms, along with $2 million in cash. The shipment is bound for Canada's TD Bank and the Vancouver Bullion and Currency Exchange. At 3:56 p.m., the aircraft touches down at Toronto Pearson International Airport, Canada's busiest hub. The container is moved to Air Canada's cargo terminal, where it's scheduled to stay under lock and key until Brink's security arrives for pickup later that night. But somewhere between procedure and oversight, that plan quietly falls apart. At 6:32 p.m., a white 5-ton truck rolled into the Air Canada cargo terminal. The driver looked official, reflective vest, gloves, mask, uniform, the kind of appearance that doesn't raise questions. In his hand, an airway bill listed a shipment of 1,200 kilograms of seafood. It was the same document used the day before, only this time, a copy had been printed from inside the Air Canada warehouse and passed off as the original. No one noticed the difference. The forged paperwork was accepted without hesitation. Workers moved quickly, loading the container into the truck. Within minutes, the vehicle pulled away from the terminal. No alarms, no double checks, no calls for confirmation, just silence. A man had driven out of Canada's largest airport with more than $30 million in gold and cash, and nobody stopped him. At 9:30 p.m., the armored Brinks rig pulled up on schedule. The crew walked the route they always walk, checked the paperwork they always check, and found an empty space where a container should have been. Gone. Air Canada didn't call police until 2:43 a.m., a delay that handed the thieves the night. 8 hours of darkness, distance, and vanishing time. In those hours, the cargo could have been hauled out of the city and into another province. Detectives opened the case and gave it a name, Project 24K. Their first verdict came fast and cold. This had not been forced. Nothing was smashed, no alarms had screamed, and no employee reported an odd moment on the floor. Someone had simply walked the system. The theft read like an instruction manual: access to schedules, the ability to print internal paperwork, precise timing of the security pickup. It wasn't a smash and grab. It was a map drawn from the inside. At the heart of the operation was one machine, the Air Canada printer, and someone had made sure that, when it mattered most, no one was asking questions. During the on-site sweep, investigators uncovered their first real lead: a single fingerprint left behind by the truck's driver. He'd taken off his left glove to handle the paperwork more easily. That one small mistake was enough. Forensic analysis identified him as Durante King Milan, 25 years old, from Brampton, Ontario. No serious criminal record, just a few minor traffic violations. But suddenly, he was the prime suspect in a $30 million gold heist. And yet, he'd vanished. To find him, detectives retraced the stolen truck's path, reviewing more than 225 pieces of surveillance footage. Officers assigned to Project 24Carat went business to business, block by block, collecting every frame that might show where the van went after leaving Air Canada cargo. Investigators reached out to shop owners and small businesses across Peel and Halton, collecting security footage one clip at a time. Every new angle filled in another few seconds of the truck's escape. The route began westbound on Britannia Road East, then slipped south onto Dixie. From there, the white 5-ton vanished into the flow of traffic along Highway 401. Past Milton, city lights gave way to open farmland and dark, empty fields. That's where the signal ended. A straight line into nowhere. For months, the investigation crawled forward, slow, methodical, and frustrating. Then, in September 2023, everything changed. Police in Pennsylvania pulled over a speeding rental car after a brief pursuit. Inside, they found 65 illegal firearms, many of them modified handguns with their serial numbers filed off. The driver's name stopped the case cold: Durante King Milan, the same man whose fingerprint had tied him to the Toronto gold theft. That arrest cracked the story wide open. For the first time, investigators suspected the stolen gold wasn't just melted or hidden. It was being converted into cash to bankroll weapons trafficking between the United States and Canada. When they searched Milan's phone, detectives uncovered encrypted messages with another suspect, Pras Paramalingam. The conversations detailed routes, payments, and getaway logistics, proof of a wider operation. Over the next several months, Project 24Carat expanded beyond borders. Police carried out more than 37 raids, issued 70 document warrants, and interviewed over 50 people tied to the movement and laundering of nearly 400 kilograms of stolen gold. During the raids, investigators seized $430,000 in cash, believed to be profits from melted gold. Alongside the money were jewelry-making tools, homemade furnaces, crucibles, molds, and 6 finished bracelets worth nearly $90,000, each traced back to the stolen metal. None of the original gold bars were ever recovered. Detectives now believe the entire 400 kilograms were melted down within weeks of the theft. 2 handwritten ledgers told the rest of the story. Each listed the same 18 names, alongside coded notes for payments. Entries like $220,000, Dubai condo, and boat. That discovery shifted the case entirely. The gold hadn't been smuggled out of the country in bar form. It had been reborn in Canada, mixed with other metals, shaped into jewelry, and quietly funneled through small shops. From there, the pieces could move freely, disguised as legitimate exports, eventually finding buyers in India and Dubai. By the time the dust settled, police had identified 9 suspects tied to the laundering network. Evidence quickly pointed to Arsalan Sunny Chowdhury as the ringleader. On the day of the theft, he made more than 800 phone calls to other suspects. Within days, he fled Canada and is now believed to be hiding in Dubai. Investigators discovered rental documents for a luxury villa registered under a friend's name, believed to be his current residence. But there's a problem. Canada has no extradition treaty with the United Arab Emirates, meaning Chowdhury is unlikely to ever be brought back. Another key suspect, Air Canada warehouse manager Simran Pit Paneer, initially cooperated with police, even walking them through the scene of the crime. But months later, he quietly resigned and disappeared. Authorities now believe he's hiding in India. Investigators say Simran Pit Paneer had more access than anyone realized. He controlled the internal printer used to generate the fake airway bill and knew every detail of the cargo schedule, exactly when and where the gold would move. A third suspect, Parmampal Sidhu, worked as a regular warehouse employee. Months after the heist, he quietly left his job and surfaced in Dubai. Online, he's made little effort to hide his success. His Instagram feed shows rooftop pools, high-end hotel suites, business-class flights, and designer watches. Investigators see it as indirect, but convincing, evidence that he profited from the theft. Today, Chowdhury, Paneer, and Sidhu are all wanted internationally. 5 others have been arrested in Canada and released on bail, while another suspect, Durant King Mlan, remains in custody in the United States. None have admitted guilt, and the court cases are still ongoing. Brinks, the company that shipped the 400 kilos of gold and $2 million in cash, is suing Air Canada for negligence and security failures. Air Canada hit back with a countersuit, claiming Brinks never declared the shipment's true value. 2 years later, the legal fight drags on. And the gold? Still missing. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.